What's going on? Welcome back to Trending Stocks. Today we're going to talk to you about Hologram. I want to go over some of the current data points, break it down on what's been coming out from the company itself, and what I feel their next big plan is. Before we get into any of that, make sure you guys hit that thumbs up, and with that, let's get right to it. So Hologram did go down 4.79% on Friday, $1.35 the low, $1.46 the high. So it was kind of tame, and the reason why it was tame is because there was lower volume. So 15.2 million shares being traded, 43.2 is the average. For those of you that have been kind of following my channel, you would know that lower volume is kind of good in Hologram because it does guarantee that there is no dilution. Whenever you see abnormal spikes, especially if there's no news correlated to that, 9 times out of 10 that is going to be dilution. That's just my estimate. I think based on their last earnings is clear that there's a significant amount of dilution occurring, but anyone kind of thinking otherwise, I think they just are hopeful that it's not. But beside the point though, when it comes down to news, they did put out news on February the 6th, still going the overly complex route, because if we kind of look at this, they did 8 something paragraphs ultimately right here just to state something that could be narrowed down to 1. So they're overdoing it still. And moral of the story of that news on February the 6th is just to piggyback off of the news from January the 7th. So January the 7th, they did say that they're going to be planning to adopt DeepSeek R1 as the basis for holographic AI applications. So very good stuff. And I think they were piggybacking off of the hype at the time. So for those of you that remember January the 27th, DeepSeek was going to be the end all be all of American stocks. Nvidia was going to go down to 0, just mass panic. Everything was going down. So Hologram, I got to give them a shout out. They did do a very smart thing. They piggybacked off of that hype day one and they put out news. That really helped them. It did cause the stock price to go higher. But essentially, it's been silent since then. So they kind of did tone it down on the, I guess, PR blitzes. But February the 6th is piggybacking off of this, saying that they now adopted DeepSeek. So it's nothing really crazy at all whatsoever. So I think Hologram is just grasping at straws. And funny enough though, so I was looking at this recently and I'm like, January the 21st, I'm pretty sure I usually do one Hologram video every week. And I actually did do one video. I kind of looked it up over here. So I did one video on January the 28th and then on January the 19th. January the 28th, I think I was more focused on this right here, how DeepSeek was just causing so much disruption in the broader market and they took advantage of that. I completely did not see that they did another prospectus. This is absolutely insane. So this is why I said at the beginning of my video what their plan is. And their plan is just to milk as much as they can from the system. These prospectuses are not needed, are not justified. So right now, arguably, they could have in excess of $200 million in cash or cash equivalents. That is absolutely insane. You'll have at the same time a lot of value investors say, hey, look, the market cap's only 28 million. That's a steal of a deal if they have 200 million in cash. There is a lot of dilution going to be occurring. And I know I always get, whenever I say that there's dilution occurring, I always have these kind of people in the comments saying, prove it. It's like, why do I have to prove it? Look at their last earnings. I went from 5 million to 105 million in 6 months. And all of that, they even stated, was from dilution. And that is from the time when they issued it. All of that was from the early, way down here, was most likely from this prospectus. Just one, or possibly the one that they issued, I think, earlier, or sorry, probably just these two. So March 14th and January 24th. Those two prospectuses, that is it, caused the outstanding share count to go from 5 million to 105. Or sorry, don't quote me, it might be 110. But regardless, a significant amount. And since then, let's kind of go over here. They did another one, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then the most recently, now the 9th. There's going to be unprecedented amount of dilution coming. And as I've mentioned, I really was hopeful for Hologram. I wanted the best. I wanted them to succeed. They have a lot of cash, but I don't know if they're maybe just addicted to money, and that's what they want, but they don't want to do anything with it. But all of this news, which they have been doing a lot of PR lately, they did one as a tester clearly, and it worked and people loved it, so they even among themselves got addicted to it. So December the 30th, but none of this news since December the 30th has signaled anything about any dollar value. Zero, nothing. None of them have. They stated that they're going to be pivoting to quantum, but now, so this is my issue again, and I know I'm kind of going back and forth a little bit, but I think this hologram is simply just a hype stock. That is it. Because when quantum was hot, they said that they're going to pivot to quantum. Now DeepSeek was hot. They now went back to their old business model, which is AI applications, and they are going to be pivoting to that. So it's just they're doing whatever is hot at that moment, and they're trying to gain some hype. And while that does occur, they're going to unfortunately sucker a lot of retail investors in, and then ultimately just get money through this. So I think in general, it's not a good scenario. Even though it might have some pumps, I think that is just simply dilution occurring. So if you want to ride the wave and you can do that accurately, so be it. But I think there is a hell of a lot more downside risk than anything. And even moving over to shorts. So shorts did increase 33,000 shares on Friday. Again, if you feel dilution is occurring, this number will be wrong, but it does indicate 28.62% of the free float is being shorted, works out to be 5.85%. And so last time they did disclose it, you can kind of see the short interest went down to 0.41. That kind of signals to a lot of individuals the magnitude of the dilution that does occur. So this is a very better representation of that. So kind of short interest was going up, people were getting hyped up, and then it went down to zero pretty much overnight. On the flip side, you do see some signs of manipulation. So cost to borrow minimum is negative, so negative 0.29. So that does mean a broker out there is physically paying people to short this stock. So that's kind of an interesting update. But aside from that, 31,000 in calls, 11,000 in puts, 69% of all the options being done were bearish in nature from Friday. So like I already mentioned in previous videos, I think options is the demise of hologram, because hologram, prior to them having options, they were and could have been seen as a pure squeeze play. And what I mean by that is whenever there's options, shorts typically like to hedge just in case a stock price was to really go up or just skyrocket. They're covered through options. So whenever a stock doesn't have options, they could be seen as a pure squeeze play. So I think by them doing options, it just really killed any chance of it going higher. So if you're one of those individuals that feels a squeeze and you got in because you wanted one of these types of kind of scenarios to happen, that is never ever going to happen in hologram's history again. Spoiler alert, unfortunately. And that's just because of options. All of these time periods right here, they never had options. So again, something to kind of keep in mind. But let me know your viewpoint on hologram. Do you think I am 100% wrong with them? Do you think that they are going to be doing something big? Or do you think, what's your general thoughts on all that? Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. One final thing, pop over to my Discord. I have a free Discord, so you can pop over there. A lot of good people, a lot of good chat. So link in the description below and also the comments with all that. Appreciate all of you watching.